Greetings and welcome to SmartWatch Tics, where we're going to do more or less an executive overview of two of the three smartwatch phones on the market that we've found so far that adequately run the Android operating system. Before we get started, I'd like to recommend, if you're really new to this, take a look at our video that is an overview of smartwatches and smartwatch phones. If you're looking for the kind of watch that interfaces with your phone, where you got to carry your phone with you, but you can answer and receive calls from your watch, this is not that kind of a device, and you're in the wrong video. If indeed, though, you're looking for a separate standalone miniature smartphone, basically, then this is the video for you. These devices can use a separate SIM card and have access to phone number and text messaging and all that good stuff, independent of the phone. You don't need to take the phone with you. In fact, with the exception of a few limited software connections, you can't actually connect these watches to your phone. We have a video up showing how you can kind of get around that and use the phone as a trigger and a monitor for taking video or photos from your cell phone. But other than that kind of tethering, these are really standalone devices. So with that said, let's begin. First of all, let's talk about what we're looking at. This one here, and I'm going to show you a piece of paper with the information on it in a moment, is the AOKE Z15. Okay? This one here is the ZGPAX S8. And not pictured here, because I don't have that one, is the IKwear, IKwear, IK8. So let's take a moment and look at each of these and what they are. I've made little printouts for you. The Z15, featured in most of my videos because I had that one first, is a smartwatch phone that has about 512 megabytes of RAM and a 4 gigabytes ROM card in it. It's interchangeable. You can actually add a SIM card to this one if you want to. Okay? The other one that we will be looking at is the ZGPAX S8. Okay? This one does not have the ability to add a card to it, but the new upgraded version comes with an 8 gigabyte card. The standard was 4. So if you're looking at this watch, make sure you look at one where they've got the 8 gigabytes on it. The third one that we're not looking for, going to look at at all, is this one, and it's the IKwear IK8 watch. The reason I'm not really focusing on this is this appears to be a watch for left-handed people. If you notice, the buttons are on the left side, so if you have it on your right wrist, you're going to have to reach around behind to push the buttons. A little bit awkward. The other two watches have the buttons on the right. However, it appears from the screenshots that this one works very similar to the ZGPAX S8 in functionality. Okay, you're going to want to know some of the good stuff about these watches, I'm sure, and you're definitely going to want to know what you don't want. Here's one interesting thing. This one flipped over on the ground, and it's sensitive enough that it's been tapping all around and actually brought up a notepad and the keyboard. This is an interesting keyboard we'll talk about later in the keyboard design. I've just been testing it out recently. If you notice, the letters get bigger. Yet I digress. This is not a video about keyboards, so let's go back and close out these things. This is good because you're getting an overview of the user interface, and here's one drawback from this particular watch. It's extremely slow. This one takes forever to load up even the basic icons. You see, it's trying. It's at the home screen right now, but it hasn't finished loading yet. So let's talk about a few things. This one has the camera on the side. All of these are either 5 megapixel or what a lot of people are saying is they're 3 megapixel interpolated up to 5 megapixels. irregardless, they take pretty decent pictures. Definitely way better than the 2 megapixel type cameras. The user interface on this one is a lot like the Apple implementation on the iPhone platform. You have individual icons. They appear only once in the device. And you have a bottom row where you can put some that will stay there. Okay? You can make folders simply by touching and holding, if you're accurate with this. And dragging and touching. Boom. There. We made a folder. The folders can hold up to 9 separate applications. Okay? And so that's kind of nice. You have icons individually, you have folders, and you notice that these are the familiar ones you see on the Android Play Store. And with the Play Store right here, you can download just about anything. Some of them, most of them, sorry about the focus. Come on, camera. Hello. There we go, sorry. Okay, so most of these have been designed in a way that they'll work with the 240 by 240 screen. Some of them have not. But let's talk some more. The buttonology, and this is a drawback for this particular phone, kind of a big one. You have 2 buttons. You have your basic on-off power button, and you have a home button. What you do not have, that you have on most other phones, are the other buttons. This round button, the home button, is what you have up here. The back button, which is needed in many, many apps, is not available. So when you're at a screen where you need to hit the back button because the designer did not create the interface where you have a back thing to hit on the menu screen itself, you're stuck. You hit this button, you bail out of the app, and you have to relaunch the app again. And if it launches back in the same page, you're really out of luck, and you basically have to click and hold to bring up all the apps and delete it completely off of the screen and then relaunch it again. This is one of the major drawbacks of the Z15 watch, is its limited buttonology. In particular, it does not have the back button. All right? Keep that in mind. Other things about this one, there's so much. It's kind of dim right now. I have this set in the developer options so that it stays on all the time, and I have a special app installed that lets you just adjust the brightness at the top. All these things are covered in other videos, so please subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you up to date. By way of executive summary, the operating system is extremely slow. The buttonology is wrong. There is no back button, and it makes it awkward. Its SIM card, there's no slot to install the SIM card. You literally have to take it apart from the back. There's screws that hold the back plate on. You have to take it apart and insert an extended memory card if you want, up to 32 gigabytes, and the SIM card to make your phone calls. Both, actually all 3 of these, work effectively off of Wi-Fi, and that's primarily what I'm doing, and I think a lot of people are buying these watches for, is to just use them basically in a Wi-Fi only zone and not deal with the SIM card stuff. By contrast, this one here, which is the S8, has the SIM card on the side. So you just open it up and you shove in your SIM card. And right now, as a matter of fact, because I want to show you a drawback of this watch later, I have my SIM card for my phone and data plan, AT&T, inserted in here. It lights up perfectly. You go in and turn the data plan on, and it works. This one too, interesting, this is a quad band phone, so it has all 4 of the frequencies for this type of network, which T-Mobile and AT&T support, but Sprint and Verizon do not. This one only has 2 of those bands, not all 4 of them, so I wasn't sure if it would work in the United States. I put in my card, I brought it up, and it does work fine. However, the volume is really low on this particular one. Okay, the Z15 phone has really low volume, both in playing music, for example, from the apps and in the phone calls. And it's a challenge to try to adjust the volume because there's no on-screen way to do it. There's no pull-down menu way to do it. It doesn't give you volume from here. And, of course, the buttonology doesn't support it. So I've had to put things like a mute button and a volume button right on my home screen. But if you're in a phone call or you've got Django playing or something, you really don't have that phone volume capability. This one, we'll get into this in a minute, but the bottom button is your volume button, and it's really sweet when you're inside of it. It just brings up the volume and it raises it. That's all it does. It's a one volume thing up, but you can just slide it if you need to take it down. Okay, so what else about the Z15? Low volume level, that's a drawback to it for sure, but if you're using it to Bluetooth to an earpiece, that would work fine. That's all I think we'll talk about for now. Let's contrast it with S8, and as things come up, we may come back and talk about this one more. First of all, in the layout, you notice significant difference in the fact that here you have a page of multiple icons with a row of 4 stable ones at the bottom, and here you have a space for 4 icons. I use only 3. You notice I have a white space on each of them. The reason for that is sometimes when you slide, you'll accidentally trigger and load one of the apps, and then you got to close it and it's a mess. So I set all my pages up with a little space that I can slide without it having an icon there. Okay. This one, you have folders available to you, but the folder can only hold a maximum of 3. But you notice the buttons are a lot bigger, and the phone is a lot faster. Actually, I like this better than I do that. I thought I'd really like this layout because it feels like an iPhone. But, while we're on iPhone, the SIM cards that these watches take are the ones that are in the earlier iPhone. So if you have an iPhone and you're going to be using a SIM card from AT&T or T-Mobile inside of here, it's got to be the kind, not the Nano, but the little bigger one, the one that's in the 4S, not the 5 or newer iPhones. You can't just interchange them. So that's something to keep in mind if you're in the iPhone platform. Okay, we're talking about user interface, how smooth and easy this one is, how you can make all these different folders, and you can categorize them. You see, I've named my folders. In this watch, you can make folders. There they are, a few of them, but it just says folder, and I have not found a way that I can name the folder. They just show up. And to bail out, you have to hit the back button, the only button available. Hit it again, takes you back to your home screen. Here, hit it again, takes it back to the home screen, but it's right on the screen in the front on the S8. So the S8's faster. It has, believe it or not, you can add up to 25 or 26 individual pages as you start adding applications. So you really have a lot of room, especially if you have folders with 3 apps in each folder. That's 9 apps per page times 25 pages or so. That's a lot of apps. Okay. This one, like I said, right now I have the SIM card in it. You notice it says G with an E on it. That means it's on the AT&T network Edge. That's the 2G. It's not doing 3G. Same thing for this one. If you get the SIM card in it and bring it up, it'll do the 2G. But it does a decent job of streaming music, and because it has the volume control right here, you can easily adjust the music as you want. Not really good for playing video because it's a slow network. But if you have your basic SIM in your phone, and it's easy to get out of your phone, you can, like I said, simply slide it in the slot on the side on this watch. After you turn it off, slide it in, turn it on. You don't want to damage your SIM card. And you'll bring up your AT&T or T-Mobile enterprise environment with your data plan, and everything should be just fine. Okay. A drawback of this phone, and to demo that, I wanted to go into the music. Where do I have that? Radio. I was playing Django earlier. Now look at the screen. We're going to move this off. Oh, now it's behaving. This is wild. What I had earlier, let's turn the volume down a little bit. What I had earlier was the screen was getting kind of glitchy. I'd have black lines going across the screen. There you go. That's because I'm on the 2G and I'm using the AT&T SIM card in there. On Wi-Fi, it's crystal clear and clean like it is most of the time right now. But I guess when it's connecting to the network and buffering the music coming down, you start to see those lines coming across. That's a bit of a drawback. It's not a showstopper, but yeah, it's something to consider. I did not notice that on this one. Oops. Now here's something. Okay, I still have music playing, but I'd like to silence that, so I press and hold. Bring it up. Pause it. Bring it back down and home again. And home. Really easy to operate. Okay. So we're almost 15, 16 minutes into this video. I think it's time to wrap it up, and we'll look in depth at each of these watches separately in upcoming videos. But for right now, in terms of making a buying decision, let me re-summarize what we've got. We have three phones. We have this one, which is the Z15. Okay. We have this one, which is the S8, and we have a third one we're not showing called the AOKE